Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I wanted to do a video today on birthday reflections because today it happens to be my birthday. Yes, it is my birthday. I've turned 30 years old, and which is oof. I mean, some of the people watching this video right now are probably thinking 30, that's like a young chicken. And yes, I mean, I agree. I mean, 30 is young, but it feels like also a very significant, it feels like a very significant milestone. Especially because I'm the kind of person who has, it's not that I thought I would die before 30, it's not that, but it's just that I've just never been someone who envisions the future too much. I don't try to plan the future too much. I don't think too much about it at all. Like whenever someone has asked me, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing in the next week. Like how do you expect me to know what I will be doing or what I would want 5 years later? Because I by nature I am also someone who is kind of a little moody in the sense like I go I I live my life based off of what I'm in the mood in the moment. I can't, like, if I sit here and I'm like, okay, in 2025, I want to be here. Yeah, by that time, I mean, next year, Feb 2025, my preference and my mood will completely be different. That has often traditionally been the case in the past as well. Whenever I have tried to plan for something, by that timeline I'm in a completely different headspace, or like the circumstances are different or whatever. So I think, so I've never been someone who has thought too much about the future that way, and so in that sense I never thought about being 30 or what 30 would feel like or could feel like. And age has also never not been something that's anything that important to me anyway, but like I think age becomes a very interesting motivator to sit and sometimes reflect as well a little bit. It becomes that kind of like interval at which you sit down and you're like, okay, let's try to think of things in life and, like just reflect on how far you've come. And I think it's so just the realization that I've hit 30, number one, I mean, because I didn't even like imagine this happening. And number two, also just from that angle of I've made it this far. I've been alive for 3 decades. That's a lot. A lot of time has passed. I think there's so much emotion and there's so many realizations that are coming through to me. And I think I didn't expect it. It was very unexpected. I spent year 29 just mainly reflecting on life and thinking about where I'm going, what I'm approaching as I am going to be 30 right now. And there's so many things that have gone in and out of my head, so many reflections, so many emotions that have gone in and out, and still I think like I still feel quite like emotional and sentimental, just I think thinking about all the things that I've gone through that have kind of like led to this moment right now. um there's definitely a lot of gratitude. There's a lot of like bittersweetness as well of some of the things that have happened, but also the bitter is obviously some of the bad things that have happened, including OCD suffering, which was like really intense. But also the sweet is where I wouldn't be in this headspace and frame of mind if I had not been through all of that. So I mean, this moment right now is, I would say, an accumulation of everything that has happened. It does not, like, this moment does not exist individually, separately in time. It is because of everything that has transpired. Which is why if someone, gives me an option to be like, hey, a moment, like, you can go back in time and change this. I mean, it wouldn't be like, I don't know what my answer would be. I might be inclined not to change anything at all because I'm happy with where I'm at, and I know it's a collective effort of all those factors, and I'm not sure if I would want to change that. Truthfully, like even some of the harshest things I've experienced, I don't know. It's a difficult choice. It's not something. Even if I do decide to change it, it would not it wouldn't be okay, yes, let's do it. I would spend a lot of time deliberating on it, thinking about it, really, just going over it in my head and weighing out the pros and cons of it. And I mean, but I think instinctively right now, what I think is I kind of don't want to change anything. I mean, this video that I'm doing is not. There's no. Or maybe there might be. I don't know. It might come out of my mouth. But I'm not doing this with the intention of giving any like big strong message over here. I think I want. I just want to. I just want to take this moment to sit here and I don't know, just express what's here, express what's on my mind, um, and try to articulate it in the best way possible. Like I just did not. I think when you're going through OCD and where every single moment feels like a matter of life and death, where you feel like the next moment is going to be the moment of extermination. I think it's really hard to even think that you can be in this place where where you're very where you're very in that sense grateful and also at peace with whatever has happened, because in that moment you don't even know if you're going to survive the next 2 days. Whether, I mean, not even from a point of, I'm not even saying this from a point of taking your own life, because a lot of people with OCD don't also feel like that, but just from an angle of, not knowing if your body is even going to be able to handle things and going to keep itself going. In that moment it feels like it's going to just fall apart and just give up on its own, and you're basically going to be lying flat on the floor without any motivation to move an inch. um, but it's good to be here. It's good to be here after all those moments of feeling like I that my brain is going to just shut down, and I might not be able to wake up in the morning. Um, I think also approaching 30 has very much, because in your 20s, I think, at least this is how I felt. I feel like 20s was that decade where it's like, I'm going to be 20 forever, right? But when that number changes and it becomes anything, goes up, that when that decade goes up, I think it has also very much put me in that perspective of that I'm here for a limited amount of time. And like 30 years pass by like anything, the next 30 are also going to like just go like that. Of course, there are going to be moments to pause and reflect and all those things, but it's also going to go by quite fast as well. And and I think that in turn has made me even happier to to just exist in itself. And I know how corny and cheesy all that sounds as well, like, oh, like, look, I exist and human life. But no, really, really, it is like that, because in all its like chaotic, ugly, but also really good forms, I have been given a chance at life, at the very least. I have been given, like, I mean, by the forces of nature, I've been given this moment over here, right here, right now, to really to live life, to live and to make my own circumstances, to be able to build in my own way, to do things differently. Every single moment is that chance to do things differently as well. You thinking right now that you cannot step away from compulsions, I completely get how that feels. But just the very next moment is a chance to do things differently. Don't ask for that reassurance today. Don't Google that question that you really want to Google. Don't avoid, meeting the person you want to avoid. Um, so many things like that. Like every single moment is an opportunity to change the course of your own life, right? And I've also noticed that as I've been speaking, I went from like, really exciting energy to also suddenly just like very, I don't know, very like reflective and pensive and just mellowed down, because that is how I feel. I mean, I feel a mix of both those things. I feel excitement, and I feel like, I'm also looking forward to what, like, 30s are going to bring. um but it's also like very humbling as well, of like, it's humbling because it's like I've been able to live so far, and I don't know how much longer I will be here, but like, I definitely want to live a longer life. um but I'm also going to embrace it, even if it's just for another year as well. um I'm going to try to embrace it, even if I'm here just for one more year. um yeah, just some quiet reflection in my head going on there. But I think, again, I think every single birthday, I mean, my birthdays have gone well, even in my OCD suffering. Like, I used to, I had so many birthdays where I spent them emotionally numb. Like, my friends would maybe throw me a party, or like, even I would, just go out with them. And I mean, I would enjoy, but it would be very muted as well. It would be very muted and disconnected and sort of distant as well. I wasn't feeling immersed in happiness and excitement and joy. Um, and it just, yeah, I felt quite emotionally numb. And I think that maybe this might be one of, I've had a couple of other birthdays like this, but I think like the kind of clarity of thought in mind, and just like feeling really at peace, and just, very, immersed in my environment, I think it's very prominent over here right now, uh on this specific birthday. And there's even just, again, I'm not your 60-year-old sitting in a rocking chair giving some kind of like, wisdom over here, but even at 30, I feel like I've gathered so much wisdom already. There's so many lessons, and so much more to still like learn, and so much more to gather lessons from. Everything that I thought would just be this permanent state of complete misery kind of just evaporated. It all went away. Not just OCD suffering, but even like other things in life where I thought that this is going to be permanent suffering, it's not. It kind of went away. So, like, again, the impermanence of any kind of feeling, good and bad both. I think that's one, definitely something that I have become more and more comfortable with. The emotions and good and bad periods coming in waves, right? Then it's also just really like, it's at times it's a stark realization of my own perseverance as well, because I thought I didn't have it in me to do anything difficult. I thought I didn't have it in me to do challenging things. I was very addicted to comfort. I thought, I'm just wired that way. I mean, I don't have it in me to, I don't know, zip line across like a mountain. But I've done those things. To my own surprise, to my own shock, I have done those things. And it's just been like, I have continued to surprise, and I still continue to surprise myself in many different ways. Things I thought would make me super uncomfortable actually have not made me uncomfortable. In fact, they've actually really thrilled me quite a bit as well. Things I thought would make me feel comfortable actually have made me quite uncomfortable. It has gone the other way as well. And I think I've also learned not to attach very strong presumptions and expectations with anything at all. And I'm not saying that from a very cynical point of mind at all. I think it helps me live more freely, and it helps me adapt to unexpected things in life a lot more. Even with good things in life, such as, I don't know, relationships and job prospects and this and that. Like, even with good things, I try not to attach like very strong expectations. And because because I used to do that, if I attach too many strong expectations of this is how things are supposed to be, then I'm only going to end up strongly disappointing my own self and upsetting myself, because I'm going to be approaching it with the, it must go this way and it should go this way. And that's part of the reason why I've also not wanted to ever plan like 5 years ahead or something like that, because it doesn't make, to me it makes no sense to plan 5 years ahead. I mean, yes, you can have some loose goal that this is what I want to work towards, but I also don't want to be the person to be like, I haven't achieved this like in 5 years, therefore I'm a complete failure kind of thing, right? Um, so I think keeping flexibility in mind with anything, with relationships, with life, with jobs, with friends, keeping expectations flexible is something that has helped me so much in every single situation. If a friendship has fallen apart, it has hit me like less harder, because in my mind I live with like a very good healthy reality check that, friendships and relationships can come and go. They're not very permanent. Like I am very, I am in constant motion in life myself. So if I cannot guarantee my presence in someone's life, I also cannot guarantee somebody else's presence in my life either. um, the same as, and that even goes for like uh, materialistic things as well. I love this shirt, but I will not have it forever. If I lose it, if I, someone steals it, if it gets burnt in a fire, if I no longer fit in it, right? I'll be sad, but I won't be super upset. And I think we just, as human beings, we tend to get overly attached to one single factor, and then we base our entire peace of mind and happiness around it. Um, and that's one of the biggest mistakes that OCD sufferers also make, which I made myself in the past as well. So I think I've just learned to not set very rigid expectations from anything, even from my own self. You know, when I go into certain situations, I don't go into it thinking, oh, I will feel this way, or I will feel that way. I go into it thinking, okay, let's see how I feel. Because there's so many situations I don't know how I will feel. But for many years, I operated from an angle of wanting to have, like, wanting to know exactly how I will feel in that situation, wanting to calculate that. And I analyzed over it so much. Like I've spent like, I think if you accumulate the number of hours I have, spent just calculating how I would feel, it would be a big amount. It might go into a few years, some even. I don't know. Maybe not a few years. Well, maybe a couple of years. Maybe. Um, but I've stopped doing that. The same as I also don't try to presume, or I don't try to expect too hard what the other person's reaction to something might be or how they might feel. For me, it's like, okay, let's see how they will feel if I do this or if I say this. Again, that helps me live more flexibly, more openly, with a more freer mind as well. Um, Again, I don't have anything listed down over here, and I didn't want this to be like a very curated video of, hey, these are like, what this is like, these are the points I have. I just want to come here and kind of like speak freely on that. um Taking life by the horns, doing things even if you're feeling scared and underconfident, right? Doing things even if you're not feeling brave. um Doing things out of curiosity to see how you will feel instead of already predicting how you will feel. Um, Not pigeonholing holding yourself in one personality type. That, oh, I am this specific person, therefore I need to keep living up to the expectations of this personality as well. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Just a lot of different things that, I mean, that I mean, there's a ton of things I can say about life itself as well. I've been through some like really hard stuff in my life, and there's still a lot of things in my life, by the way, that are unanswered. I have no clue what will happen of them, and those are like real life challenges that I have right now. I don't know how they will evolve. I literally don't have any answer to them. No clue as to how I will build forward, but I just take it day by day, month by month sometimes. I build forward with every new piece of information I have. It's like, okay, I have this information. Now, what's my next step? I'm not planning 10 steps ahead because I find that, for me at least, I find that very unrealistic. So, just because I am recovered, just because I feel immense gratitude and happiness to be here at 30, I'm also not. I mean, I also know that there are life challenges ahead. And the reason that an OCD relapse or setback does not terrify me is because, for me, it is another life challenge. It's not anything different from your regular life challenges. I don't see it any different from being in a car accident and being, I don't know, and sustaining like really bad injuries. For me, it's the same thing. An OCD setback and a relapse is exactly the same thing, because what do you do when a life challenge happens, right? When a life challenge comes up, um, you take stock of the information you have, you see what are the things that you can change or influence in that moment, and you start taking those steps of adaptation. That's what you do, right? So even with an OCD relapse and setback, that's exactly what you will do. Just like you will do that with a death of a family member, or finding out you have a disease, or I don't know, a natural disaster hitting your home. Those are the steps that you will take. So those are exactly the steps you will take for OCD suffering as well. If that ends up happening, if that ends up happening to me, that's exactly what I will do as well. So for me, it doesn't terrify me, it doesn't scare me. I'm not thinking, oh my god, what will I do? I'll do what I did before. I worked on my beliefs, I worked on things I was avoiding, I worked on my life structure, I worked on my perspectives. I'll do the same thing. That's all. That's literally the only option I have. Unless I have a relapse like 20 years later, and at that point, I don't know, there's even further technology or research on how to recover from OCD. Maybe I might be applying that then. But if there's not, then I'll lean into the same things that I've done right now. Um, but I'm also saying that, I mean, it's not like, when we talk about reality checks does not mean that it's a cynical mindset. In fact, having a reality check is a very healthy mindset to have, because you're not living in complete delusion, and you're also not living in complete cynicism either. You're living somewhere in the middle, and the middle is the good balance of things as well. So I'm not like, I make no mistake, I have challenges in life, but that's also not throwing me in some kind of spiral of like, like, how will I handle this? How will I deal with this? This is too much. No, no, no. I need to find answers. I need to know exactly what my steps are. No, I don't need to know that. I mean, it's fine. I can figure it out as I go along in life as well. So, and I think I mean, I would encourage you to take your recovery journey like that as well. I know the urgency to recover from it is immense, but um, think of, okay, you have, let's say, limited information right now. Let's say you don't know what all your compulsions or your fears are, for example. Well, you might know at least two compulsions. You might know at least two fears that you have. Let's start with that. And then as you go along, if you find more information, then it's like, okay, I have more information now. Now I will work on this thing. There's absolutely no urgency or deadline to recover from OCD. You don't need to. Again, I know where the urgency comes from as well, because it's like, I need to start living my life, and that needs to happen ASAP. But you can live your life while simultaneously working on recovery as well. It does not have to be a post recovery and pre recovery thing. Um, Start making more room for, you know, living and existing with discomfort side by side, as you're also chipping away at it, and as you're going after your goals as well. You know, nothing in this world is that permanently damaging that we have to spiral over it 24/7. Again, again. I say the word a lot, again. But I've been through those situations myself. I remember feeling exactly really bad when I felt like this feeling and situation is going to be forever and there's no escaping it. Um, and maybe I wasn't able to escape those feelings, but I was able to confront them and deal with them. And that was actually a better strategy than trying to make them go away. So you might have a wedding coming up, you might have a baby on the way, you might need to propose to your partner. There might be a big career shift and goal coming up. Something or the other might be around the corner for you. There might be a big move, moving from one country to another. That might be coming up for you. Still, there's no urgency to recover. You can work on it even after, during and after you've made those big life changes have happened as well. Um, I think the other thing I would like to mention is that I think OCD suffering did, or generally chronic anxiety suffering did halter? Is halter a word? Halt. It did halt, I think. Me with a lot of things. Like, I am 30 years old, and let me tell you, I don't know how to swim. I only started driving last year at the age of 29. I don't know how to. I mean, I know how to tie a tie, but I don't know how to tie it in a good way. I don't know how to shave. I don't shave. I use a trimmer. I don't shave. I have no clue. Is there a certain way you do it? What, I mean, do you use like a two blade or a three blade? No clue at all. No clue. I know I have insurance, but I don't know how that works. Like, I don't know what it means, really. I just know that I have someone that helps me out with it, and they say words and I just say yes, but I have no clue what that means. Right? I'm not in the fittest shape of my body at all. Um, I'm 51 kg, which is the maximum weight I've ever been. I just weighed myself last night after, I don't know, a year or something. And I'm 51. This is the maximum weight I've ever been. I've never been like anything more than this. I've always been less than this. So I guess there's some upward tick. But I'm not in the best shape of my body, and I'm okay with that as well. I mean, I'll work on it, right? Um, I have no idea how to take care of my skin. I mean, people tell me I have good skin, but I'm like, okay, but okay, is there a way to maintain it? Do I need to do something about it? I have no clue. Um, I don't think I've not driven on a highway or a motorway yet, so I don't know how that will go. I don't know how to drive a bike. I know how to ride a bicycle, which I learned at 18 years old. But yeah, I don't know what the protocols are for going to a beach, or, I went to the beach the other day and people were swimming in the ocean and I was walking in it because I don't know how to swim, and it terrifies me still a little bit. I mean, I know a little bit. I could save my life if I wanted to, but but other than that, like, I'm not a pro swimmer at all. I'm not someone who'd be like, I need to take a dip. Whoop. Nope. I can't. But I want to learn at some point. Um, what else? I have no clue how stocks work. I mean, I don't know if that's something that anyone needs to know, but I guess a lot of people do know these days. I have no clue. No clue how that works. Yeah, there's so many things I don't know in life. There's so many things even at 30 years old, which might seem like basic common sensible things, but I don't know a lot of those things. But I want to learn, and I don't consider myself any lesser than any other person who knows this stuff. I'm like, okay. I mean, like, sure. You do you. I'll do me. I'll figure my way out. You have your own way out that you've done things. So I'm functioning on my own timeline. They're functioning on their own timeline. I don't have a 5 year plan, right? With career, with finances. I mean, I have some semblance of goals, but nothing rigid. Some of my friends have very, strong goals of this is what I want to do in 5 years. And I'm like, great. I guess kudos to you. I wish I could have that kind of, forward planning thing, but I don't. Again, I'm okay with that as well. I have gaps in my teeth that I'm working on aligning them. Um, I don't know, just little random things in life that I have. This is the first time I got a fade done. I've never done that before. A lot of things in life I don't know. A lot of things I'm still an amateur at. Some things I'm really good at. Some things I'm still an amateur at. Some things I'm just a beginner at. Um, so those are some of my embarrassing. Well, I'm not that embarrassed to be honest, but like those are some of my flaws as well. Those are some of the things where I lack, and again, it's a learning curve. I'll probably be still learning new things when I'm 70 years old as well. When I'm lying on my bed and complaining about my joints, and maybe I don't know if I want kids or not, but like if I do have kids or and then I have grandkids, maybe I'll be hearing about them and how they are living their life, and they're going to be telling me about some new, I don't know, some new TikTok like app that has come up, and they'll be like, oh, you know what? I went viral on my, I don't know, virtual glasses or something. I don't know what'll be there, but I'll be learning about that still then, and I'll be okay with being an oldie who has no clue what's going on in the world. Um, but that's me. Um, this is me right now, right? And I'm just planning on just adding more, adding more to me, to my sensibilities, to who I am, to my personality, constantly tweaking and changing. Just because I've recovered, my learning curve has not ended. Um there are a lot of new things I think about on a daily basis. So it's an ongoing process of, evolving yourself. So yeah, this is what 30 looks like for me. This is where I am at. Again, there's no like big message over here and no like, yes, do this kind of thing, but just some lessons I have learned, just some reflections that I have had. Maybe it helps you. Maybe this video was a complete dud for you. Either way, like, yeah, thanks for watching. um, but happy birthday to me, I guess. And I'm going to have I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't have any plans, like any solid plans. I'm just going to go with the flow again. I'm going to go with the flow with things, see where it takes me. Might go to the beach, maybe, and just might have a nice Thai dinner. I love Thai food. It's exactly what it has everything that I like. So I'll do that. But yeah, any questions you have for me, anything you want to say, even if you want to say that you wasted my effing time, say that. I'm okay with that. But thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Thank you for all your continued support as well. Like sometimes, like the messages you write, they are like really heartwarming. I'm really glad to be here in the OCD community. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't have OCD. You wouldn't be watching this, or you wouldn't like know my face if you did not have OCD. Um, so there's something that brings us together. I'm really glad also to have the people that I work with, Nick and Rob and Sam and Phil. I mean, it really does feel like I've met Rob now, but I it feels like I have people to rely on, and that's a really good supportive feeling as well. It feels nice. Um, but yeah, I'm grateful to be here, and I'm grateful to know the people I know and to work with the people I know. It's an absolute pleasure working with them, to be very honest. It is. I'm not saying that as a cheesy thing. That damn phone interrupted my very sentimental speech kind of thing. But no, I think I just wanted to say that it really is. It feels great to work with the people I work with, because those are some really good, fun interactions. And despite us talking about really hard things, they can also be some very fun interactions as well, and very meaningful as well. They're very fulfilling, and it just yeah. I mean, I enjoy doing this. I really enjoy doing this, and I love that I get to like help people, and in some ways I learn a lot from them as well, because they're all from like different places. They all bring different experiences, and it's great to know them. So thank you for being here. Thank you for the messages that you guys send in as well sometimes, and thank you for your continued support. I'll see you guys around. And yeah, more, I guess, as more reflections I have, I might, post more of those over here. But thank you for being here, and bye bye.